Ryan,
Hi.
what does it mean for, not about the associate movement, but for the Netherlands cricket community to have a go at the Champions Trophy? What does it mean?
I think if you look at it, when we started the tournament, the Champions Trophy wasn't even an option. I think the team has grown immensely over the last 2 years, and coming into the environment, you almost feel like every game means a lot, irrespective of whether it's playing for Champions Trophy or playing for kind of getting into a semi-final. So I think every game is going to be important to us, no more important than the one coming up against England. And I think going forward, the processes that have been put in place in this tournament with our group of players and our coaches has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, please.
That particular win you had in this tournament, afterwards, what has been the team's kind of progress? How would you describe the other matches?
I think the important thing for us is to build good habits. Playing the top nations in the world is an incredible opportunity and a real privilege for our group. And so every opportunity we get is one that we prepare immensely for. Every game that we've taken on, whether we win or we lose, we follow the same process. Our reflections are the same, our debriefs are the same. And that consistency is something that we really strive for. It's one of our value systems. So important for us that win or lose, that we follow the same process, and that's been the same throughout this tournament.
Yes, please.
Hi. You can now even think of beating England tomorrow. Did you come with the same belief when you came to India to participate in the World Cup, or it grew gradually?
No, I think we've had the belief all along. There's the belief not just for the England game. I think at the start of the tournament, I know Ryan Cook, our head coach, has mentioned the 4 from 8 and the ambition of getting into a semi-final. But I think ultimately we're here to compete, and we've prepared in that manner. As I said, building really good habits, trying to make sure that we're consistent throughout in what we do in all our preparations, irrespective of who we play. So I think our goal of making sure that we take each game exactly the same is continuing throughout.
Yes, please. Oh, the lady first. Always ladies first. Huh?
Thank you. Do you think England is probably at their worst vulnerability right now with all those losses?
England are world champions. I think they would do what's necessary. They've prepared just as much. And, in South Africa, where I'm from, there's a famous saying of never underestimate a wounded buffalo. So I think we sit in a position where England's one of the best teams in the world. And irrespective of how they're playing, they can produce incredible performances at any moment. So that's what, we're preparing for the best England possible.
Thank you.
You talked about the preparation and everything. Can you talk a little bit more about how you prepared for the conditions in India for the players who come from a totally different weather and climate?
We were fortunate enough to spend 2 weeks in Bangalore before the camp, before the World Cup began, which allowed a lot of our players to get used to the heat, the humidity, the conditions, the different pitch conditions. We played against a really strong Karnataka team as well, which was a great opportunity for us. So I think, throughout our preparation, whether it was the stuff behind the scenes or whether it was the physical work, every player put in the work to make sure that they gave themselves the best opportunity to succeed. So that 2-week preparation beforehand was really valuable. And then, the warm-up games really give you a good indication of sort of how you can acclimatize and how you can sort of get up to scratch with where you need to be. And I think those were really valuable for us as well, even though it did rain quite a lot in Trivandrum.
Any more? Yes, sir.
Hi Ryan, you said that England are obviously the defending champions, but is it the best time to beat England?
Not necessarily. I would say that England are, they're preparing as they know how, and they, as I said, they're world champions for a reason. This is the same group that won, a similar group that won the World Cup not so long ago. So I think for us, is there ever a good opportunity to win against the best nations in the world? I think we're preparing for the best teams in the world, no differently. And our mindset is, as long as we are consistent in what we're preparing, it'll give us the best opportunity to compete.
Any fitness and availability concerns?
No, everyone's fighting fit.
Can you give your assessment about the conditions here today in this stadium and for tomorrow's match?
I lived in Pune for 2 years, and spent quite a bit of time at the stadium. So very, it's nice to be back and see the stadium. It's been slightly renovated since I was last year, but look, Pune has always been a good wicket. We've seen South Africa score 350 in this tournament already. We've seen Afghanistan chasing 240 here. So I think with boundary dimensions fairly similar all the way around, fast outfield. If you bowl well here, you have opportunities. If you bat really well, you can put teams under pressure. So I think from our point of view, it's just about making sure we put together a really solid performance with the ball and or with the bat, and just try and set the game up in that way.
You mentioned that you have been here 2 years. Can you tell us a little bit more? When was that 2 years and for what purpose?
In 2018 and 19, I ran Gary Kirsten's Cricket Academy, and part of that was launching an academy here in Pune. So that was my priority at the time, but just before COVID, and then COVID hit, so I went back to South Africa.
Ryan, if I am allowed to put you in a spot, you seem to be very happy playing against higher ranked teams. So is it the motto that participation is more important than winning?
Do you ever play sport to lose?
No, but you seem to be very satisfied and content playing in the World Cup.
I think our motivation is to make sure that us as a team are always improving and getting better. We came into this tournament with a goal, maybe fallen slightly short of that goal of reaching the semi-finals, but it doesn't mean that we prepare any differently. And I think for us as a group, every game is important to us to play to win. I don't think we ever rock up thinking that we like to compete against the best teams in the world. We're here to win, and we're here to try and make sure that we can prepare as consistently as possible. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This is not about the World Cup. Can I ask beyond the World Cup?
You can ask everything.
Okay. For some teams like Netherlands and Ireland, how much the teams have benefited from South Africa players going there? And can you talk about being a South African, the other side of the story as well?
No, I think, if you look at sport around the world, I think the magnitude of cricket, if I can speak on cricket's side of things, is huge. England's got a lot of South Africans. England's got, they've got their version of expat players, if you want to call it that. So I think the key element here is that everyone has an opportunity to compete at the highest level of the game. If I look at teams so certainly in South Africa, rugby teams, a lot of South Africans play rugby in the UK and are playing for different nations. So I think with the global nature of the sport, the value that players can bring to other nations through whichever way they can qualify, I think it only makes the sport stronger.
And South African side of that story?
What would you like to know?
Generally, how much has it harmed South Africa's chances in any way?
Not at all. Have you seen how well South Africa are playing this tournament? No, I think in general, South Africa produces incredible sports people, but I don't think it necessarily harms South Africa in any way. I think the players go for various reasons to other countries, not necessarily just to play sport. They'll go for business purposes as well. But I think the reality is that good players everywhere around the world.
Anybody else? Thank you very much. We learn every day. He's going to explain me how dangerous a wounded buffalo is, because we don't have them in Holland. Thank you very much.